guys. So today's subject is budget get home bag, and what does that mean? So a get home bag is a backpack or some type of bag that you keep in your vehicle, and when you're separated from home, you're far away from home, and you need to get back home, but you can't because your vehicle is disabled, the highways are closed down, whatever the scenario is. You have to take off on foot. And I think it's an interesting subject, and it may never ever happen in my lifetime, but it's great to be prepared for that kind of event. You start looking at natural disasters like Katrina, and some of that stuff took place, and people were, separated from where they were supposed to be, and now what are they going to do? It could even mean that you have to stay with your vehicle and hunker down for the night. So having some gear with you is important. But, the problem is keeping expensive gear in your car, it's a recipe for disaster. You're inviting trouble because, especially in urban areas, it's very likely your car is going to get broken into if people know you have that kind of stuff in your car. And I've heard many stories about guys who've been storing get-home bags in their trucks or cars, and they get broken into, and now they've lost some really expensive pieces of gear, knives, even firearms. So one thing, I don't like to keep firearms in my vehicle because of that, because I don't want to be liable for something that's going to happen if someone breaks into my vehicle and steals it. And then the other thing is, I don't like to keep a lot of expensive gear in my truck for that same reason. So what I thought I would do is today is kind of focus on budget gear, things that you can find really easily at your big box stores in your area. Walmart is a great store to go to for this kind of stuff. They have lots of camping, hunting supplies. Other stores that have stuff that you may not expect would be your grocery store. Great for getting food, but also they have some items that you can throw in your pack that you could that are not that expensive. First aid items, things like that. So I'm going to show you what's in my bag. This is stuff that I've collected over the years. Railroad track. This is stuff I've collected over the years from different stores. A lot of it's been on sale, on clearance. But it's all stuff that you can find pretty easily, with the exception of a couple items. There's a couple of higher end items that I'd like to keep in my bag, and that's a really good sturdy knife and my shelter system, which I'm going to show you here in just a second. So that's what today's video is all about. Stay tuned and we will get into it. All right, so the first thing you notice is that I'm sitting on this Mylar tarp, and what this is just your basic Mylar nylon reinforced blanket, space blanket. These are a great all-purpose item. They don't cost a lot of money. I think they're under $25 if you look for them online or in stores. Multiple different uses. You could actually use this for an overhead tarp. You can use it as a ground cloth. You can, of course, wrap up in it and keep yourself warm. I really like to use them on the ground. I lay them on the ground. I set my stuff out on it. It gives me a place to lay down and sit. I use them in camp. So for the situation of getting in your get-home bag, this is a great all-purpose item to have. Definitely much better than the cheap space blankets that you find at Walmart or in the survival kits. This pouch, I just have some basic items. So this is waterproof matches, and this can be found at Walmart. This is a really inexpensive item that they carry. It's the UCO waterproof match container. Comes with these awesome beefy waterproof matches. These last a lot longer than a normal kitchen match, and they light in all kinds of conditions, and it's a nice waterproof container. Has a gasket, so it's sealed. You can buy replacement matches at Walmart. And I got a couple of just bicycle inner tubes around this because those, make great fire starting material as well. Another kind of low cost budget fire starter is this Vaseline and cotton balls. I've experimented with a lot of different types of fire starters, and this is by far one of the best. It's very inexpensive, easy to make, easy to carry. Has multiple uses, of course. You can, use it for using it on chapped lips or whatever, but it works great as a fire starter. Just a small roll of duct tape. Of course, the Bic lighter. I always carry 2. 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Magnesium fire starting block with a ferro rod on the side. This is a good quality one. This is not the cheapos that you find in a lot of stores. This is actually a military issue one. So if you're going to get one of these, make sure you get a decent one because the cheap ones, they just don't work as well. Bank line. Always a great universal kind of cordage that you can use for a lot of different stuff. And then just some 550 cord. And I got this cut up in different lengths for different uses. Multiple uses for that. So this little pouch is just a kind of my possibles pouch. Some emergency gear in there. Of course, toilet paper. Now, a lot of guys will say, yeah, why don't you use wet wipes? And I like wet wipes. I think they're great. But I have a problem that it seems like every time I put a package of wet wipes in a kit or a bag, if I don't use them or touch them for a very long time, they dry up and then they're useless. So I've just gone back to carrying normal toilet paper. I like wet wipes for camping when I know I'm going to be replacing them. But once you open that package, it's no good, and I don't know how long the shelf life on those are, so I really don't carry them that often. Hand sanitizer, as always, multi-purpose item. It's good to stay clean when you're handling food or handling water. You want to make sure that your hands are clean. A basic first aid kit. So this has a little bit of everything. This has some Advil in it, some lip balm. Some eye drops, of course, different size Band-Aids, antibiotic ointments, and some sting relief for insects, alcohol prep pads. So just a variety of items. It's not a huge trauma kit. I don't feel that's necessary to carry all the time. Nice big bandana. Of course, that can wrap your face, your head. You can filter water with it. You can lay it on the ground to collect food. It's a multi-purpose item for sure. Just an inexpensive stainless steel water bottle. This is single walled. It's not a vacuum bottle because vacuum bottles you cannot boil water in. So this one is by Stanley. I got this on sale at a grocery store. It's perfect for what I want to use it for, carrying water, and if I need to, I can boil water in it. So I prefer stainless steel containers for this type of application. This is probably one of the more expensive items that I carry, and you've seen this in other videos. This is the Bushcraft Outfitters Mest Poncho. Any kind of tarp or poncho, military issue or whatever, I think is a good thing to throw in your pack, because that way you can either cover yourself up if it's raining, or create a shelter that's going to get you through the night. So, look around, do some research on that, and find out what the best deal is for a poncho or for a tarp. Of course, lighter is better. A lot of military issue options out there, so maybe you can find something in surplus, but an all-purpose item that I highly recommend. This is a saw that I just picked up recently. It was $9 on clearance. It was in the hunting section. A small saw is actually, I feel, probably more useful than an axe or a hatchet. A lot of applications, easy to carry. Can definitely get wood knocked down to a manageable size for starting a fire. Inexpensive pair of binoculars. These are just Bushnell 10 by 25s. Not real expensive, but definitely come in handy when you're trying to check out the area ahead of you, trying to figure out what path you need to take, see what's going on. Great for that. Water bladder. This is an Outdoor Products water bladder. This can be had at Walmart as well. Not very expensive. You know, you don't have to have the fanciest water bladder out there. Just something that's going to hold the water and work. And these work great, and they don't cost a lot of money. Okay, this is my cook kit. Now this cook kit can be found at Walmart. So we have a Light My Fire titanium spork. Any spoon will do. But this is the Stanley stainless steel cook kit, and I like this because it's, you know, inexpensive. It's very durable. It's not too heavy. Has a nice solid handle on it. It has a lid that has drain holes, so you can actually drain rice or noodles. And inside this thing, it comes with cups. I took those out, and I put a scouring pad and some aluminum material to create a windscreen. Another butane lighter. And then what I have here is, this is just the standard Trangia alcohol stove. Alcohol stoves are great because they're inexpensive, they're easy to maintain, they're easy to find fuel for. I like the Trangias because they're really heavy duty, they're bomb proof, and you can actually store fuel in them, and it fits perfectly in the Stanley cup. So that, and then a couple of pot supports. These are from Evernew. They fit right on top of the Trangia. And then I have a bottle of denatured alcohol that you can get that at the hardware store. So that's the cook kit. Nothing too fancy, but it gives me the ability to heat water, make coffee, boil water. And then for food, I don't carry a ton of food, but you know, some nice store-bought options are ramen noodles, Cliff Bars for quick energy, a variety of coffee packets, cream, sugar, a little package of Spam to add to your noodles, so you have enough food here to get you through, you know, a couple days. I've seen this cup in probably a lot of my videos. This is a Walmart special, a little silicone collapsible cup. Of course, cutting tools are important, so this is just a Leatherman. I believe this is the... Which one is this? This is a Leatherman Sidekick. It's not really an expensive multi-tool, but it's a nice multi-tool. And it has just what I need. Cutting blade, a saw, some screwdrivers. So just a variety of tools that makes life a little bit easier. You just never know what you're going to be up against. And if I lose this thing, it's not really that big of a deal to me. It's not really an expensive multi-tool. Now this option is probably a little bit more expensive than most people maybe want to spend. This is a SE 3. A great all-purpose knife. You know, it's not a big knife, but it definitely gets the job done. It's full tang. You know, you can baton this through wood. You can feather stick with it. It's just heavy duty, and I've had it for a very long time. I really like this knife, so it goes in my kit. Couple cheap lighting options for you. This is a flashlight by Bushnell, and you get these at Walmart, and it actually comes with a headlamp, which is kind of nice. And this is the kind of headlamp that you actually just clip onto the bill of your baseball cap or whatever. So these run on AAA, and then the flashlight runs on AA's. So, these are batteries that are easily found. It's, a very bright flashlight. Has a couple different settings. Always carry a little blue foam pad with me. This is just cut from a sleeping pad. Makes it nice when you got to kneel on the ground and start a fire, or do something on your vehicle. You've got something you can actually kneel on. I like to carry a pad of paper and some pens and a small compass. So this is a Write and Rain notepad, and the notepad cover, this comes from CountyCom online, and it's made by Martac Extreme. And in here I have a Silva wrist compass, and then just a couple of pens, and then I also carry some grid readers for maps. Few trash bags, plastic bags, just for gathering stuff and wrapping things up in case they get wet. Alright, let's talk about the backpack. So this is the most important component. This is what you're going to carry everything in. Now, I have owned and do own some really nice high-end backpacks, and a lot of times people look at those and go, there's no way I'm going to spend that kind of money on a bag. And that's totally understandable. I get it. So this is a very inexpensive but great solution for your get-home bag, bug-out bag, whatever you want to use it for. This is by Fieldline Tactical. These are sold at Walmart, Meijer. I've seen them at some other sporting goods stores. This is basically Fieldline Tactical's clone of a 511 Rush 12, with a few features that are different. Nice thing is that this bag actually has a water bottle pocket on the side. So that gives me the ability to carry my water bottle on the outside of my pack. It doesn't take up a lot of extra room, easy to get to. So all in all, it's a really great, small but spacious backpack that you can throw in your truck. And the great thing about this bag is 20 bucks. Well, I found it on sale for 20 bucks, but I think retail they're probably about 25, 27. You just have to shop around and see who has the best deal. But I mean, if someone steals this out of my truck, I am not going to cry about it, because I can go out and buy another one pretty inexpensively. And it's pretty comfortable. It has a nice shoulder pad system on it, harness on it. A lot of padding on the back. The materials on this bag are not as high-end as some of the other tactical companies out there. It's cheaper material, that's why it's so inexpensive. But it's not bad. I mean, it definitely works. And then, of course, it has MOLLE on the sides and on the front, so I attached a Condor MOLLE pouch on the side here to put my binoculars in. So for the money, this is a great option that's not going to cost you a lot. Guys, thanks for watching The Prepared Wanderer. Please like and subscribe, and feel free to share. And then also, if you want to leave a comment below, I'll try to answer it, and we'll see you next time.